My brother laughed when I said I was investing in crypto. You'll lose everything, he said. Last week I bought his dream house in cash. When he came to visit, I handed him the keys and said, "You can rent it. I'll give you a family discount." The camera zooms in on the keys in my hand. I'm standing in front of a lakefront house, Mark's dream house. The same one he used to talk about every summer. I turn to him and say, "You can rent it. I'll give you a family discount." His face freezes. He doesn't laugh this time. Not like he did that night at Mom's dinner table. It was a warm Sunday evening and the house smelled of roasted chicken and cinnamon pie. Mom had invited everyone over, one of those rare full family gatherings. I was seated between my cousin Farah and my brother Mark, who had already had 2 glasses of wine and was in full entertainer mode. I'd barely opened my mouth to share something I was excited about, my interest in cryptocurrency, when he cut in with a smirk. "Oh boy," he said loud enough for everyone to hear. "Here we go. My sister's about to become a crypto millionaire. Should we all invest in her imaginary coins now or wait until she buys Mars?" The table erupted. Even Farah, who usually defended me, chuckled. I felt my stomach tighten. I smiled, nodded, and said nothing. But inside something cracked. It wasn't just the joke, it was the way everyone joined in. Like I was the family clown. Like my ideas didn't deserve respect. I didn't argue. I didn't defend myself. I just kept eating, pretending I hadn't been humiliated. But that night, as I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, I made a decision. I wasn't going to prove Mark wrong with words. I was going to prove him wrong with results. The next morning, I opened my laptop and typed, "How does cryptocurrency work?" into the search bar. I didn't know where to begin, but I knew I had to start. I watched beginner videos, read articles, joined forums. I learned about Bitcoin, Ethereum wallets, exchanges, and blockchain. I didn't understand everything at first, but I kept going. I found a local seminar titled Crypto for Beginners at the community center. I almost didn't go. I imagined running into someone I knew, someone who'd laugh like Mark did. But I went anyway. I sat in the back, notebook in hand, heart pounding. That's where I met Harold. Harold was in his 60s, wore a tweed blazer, and had the calm voice of someone who'd seen markets rise and fall 100 times. He used to work in banking, but now he taught people like me how to navigate the digital finance world. After the seminar, I stayed behind to ask a question. One question turned into 10. He didn't laugh. He listened. And then he said, "You've got the right kind of curiosity. That's rare." Harold became my mentor. We met every Thursday at the library. He'd bring printouts, charts, and sometimes cookies. He taught me about wallets, exchanges, gas fees, and scams. He warned me not to chase hype. "Slow and steady," he'd say. "This isn't a lottery ticket. It's a long game." After 3 months, I felt ready. I opened my first crypto wallet. I bought a small amount, just enough to feel the weight of it. I watched the numbers fluctuate. First it was thrilling. Then terrifying. One night I lost 40% of my investment in a single dip. I stared at the screen, heart racing. I wanted to sell. I wanted to run. But Harold's voice echoed in my head. "Volatility is the price of opportunity." I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, wondering if Mark was right. Maybe I was chasing shadows. But the next morning I made coffee, sat down, and read more. I learned about dollar cost averaging. I adjusted my strategy. I didn't give up. Weeks passed. I kept investing small amounts. I tracked trends. I joined a Discord group where people shared insights. I still hadn't told anyone in my family. It was my secret world, one where I wasn't the butt of a joke. Then something unexpected happened. My niece, Lily, knocked on my door one Saturday afternoon. She was holding her laptop. "Auntie," she said, "can you explain crypto to me? Dad said it's nonsense, but I don't think it is." I blinked. "Why do you want to know?" He shrugged. "I saw your browser tabs last time I borrowed your charger. You had like 10 crypto sites open. I figured you knew something." I laughed. A real laugh this time. "All right," I said. "Let's start with Bitcoin." Lily became my study buddy. She was sharp, curious, and unafraid to ask questions. We'd sit at my kitchen table sipping tea, analyzing charts. She even convinced 2 of her college friends to join us. We called ourselves the Coin Club. It was silly, but it made me feel like I wasn't alone. One evening, Lily said, "You know, Dad still thinks this is all a joke." But I think you're onto something. I smiled. Let him laugh. We'll see who's laughing later. Then came the morning that changed everything. I woke up, made my usual cup of tea and opened my portfolio. I blinked. Refreshed the page. Blinked again. My holdings had tripled overnight. One of the coins I'd researched for weeks had exploded after a major partnership announcement. I sat there staring at the screen, my hands trembling. I didn't scream. I didn't dance. I just sat in silence, letting it sink in. This wasn't a fluke. This was the result of every late night, every moment of doubt I'd pushed through. I thought of Mark's smirk, the laughter, the way he'd dismissed me like I was playing pretend. I closed the laptop and looked out the window. The sun was rising, casting a golden glow over the neighborhood. I felt something shift inside me, not pride, not revenge. Something deeper. A quiet certainty. I wasn't just proving him wrong. I was proving myself right. That afternoon I called Harold. It happened, I said. He didn't ask what. He just said, I knew it would. I told Lily too. She screamed, jumped, and hugged me. You did it, Auntie. I smiled. We did it. Later that week I drove past the lakefront house Mark always talked about. It had a for sale sign. I parked, stared at it and whispered, soon. I wasn't ready to buy it yet. But I knew I would be. And when I did, I wouldn't just be buying a house. I'd be reclaiming every laugh, every eye roll, every moment they made me feel small. And that journey, every sleepless night, every quiet victory, started with one laugh. One dinner table. One moment that lit the fire. The sun filtered through the tall windows of the lakefront house, casting soft golden streaks across the hardwood floor. I stood in the center of the empty living room, the keys still warm in my palm. The silence was thick, but it wasn't empty. It was full of everything I'd carried to get here. Every late night. Every doubt. Every moment I chose to keep going instead of giving up. I didn't cry. I didn't laugh. I just stood there, letting the quiet wrap around me like a blanket. This wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about reclaiming something I'd lost long ago. My voice, my confidence, my place. That same evening, I sat at my kitchen table with Lily, sipping chamomile tea. She was scrolling through her phone, her eyes wide. Auntie, she said, your portfolio's up again. That coin you bought last month, it's trending. I nodded, stirring my tea slowly. I saw. She leaned in, whispering like we were sharing a secret. You're really doing it. Quietly. But it's huge. I smiled. That's the plan. After that, I shifted my strategy. No more chasing hype. I started studying stablecoins, staking protocols, and NFT platforms. I joined a women's crypto group online, an incredible space where we shared insights, flagged scams, and celebrated each other's wins. It felt safe. Empowering. Like I'd found my tribe. One of the women, Priya, was a cybersecurity analyst. She taught us how to spot phishing links and fake exchanges. Another, Carla, had built a six-figure portfolio by flipping NFTs. I listened more than I spoke, absorbing everything. I wasn't the loudest voice in the room, but I was learning fast. I diversified. I split my holdings across different wallets. I staked some coins for passive income. I bought into a few NFT projects. Not the flashy ones, but the ones with real utility. My investments weren't explosive, but they were steady. Reliable. I tracked everything in a spreadsheet Harold had helped me build. Every week I'd update it, color-coding gains and losses. It became my ritual. One afternoon, while browsing an online marketplace, I saw a listing for handmade jewelry. The pieces were beautiful, delicate wire-wrapped stones, minimalist gold chains. I'd always loved crafting. It calmed me, gave me focus. That night, I pulled out my old bead box and started creating again. Within a week, I had 10 pieces. I took photos, wrote descriptions, and launched a small online shop. I added a crypto payment option, just to see what would happen. To my surprise, 3 of my first 5 customers paid in Ethereum. I called the shop Quiet Spark. It felt fitting. Sales trickled in. Nothing massive, but enough to feel real. Enough to remind me that I could build something with my hands and my mind. A local lifestyle magazine featured my shop in a Women in Tech and Art spotlight. They called me a quiet force in the cryptocraft space. Mark saw the article. He texted me, "Nice work." I stared at the message for a long time. Then I replied with a single emoji, a smile. No words. Just enough. The jewelry business gave me more than income. Gave me balance. When the markets dipped, I'd make earrings. When they surged, I'd package orders. Kept me grounded. One evening, Lily and I were walking by the lake, sipping iced coffee. She pointed to a house with a wraparound porch and said, "Dad always talks about that one. Says it's his dream house." I stopped walking. "Really?" She nodded. "He's obsessed. Says he'll buy it one day when he finally makes it." I didn't say anything. But something stirred inside me. That night I looked up the property. It wasn't listed. I found the owner through a local registry and sent a polite inquiry. He replied the next day. Said he was considering selling but only for cash. No agents. No fuss. I didn't hesitate. I ran the numbers. My portfolio could cover it. I'd have to liquidate a few holdings, but it was doable. I called Harold. "Are you sure?" he asked. "Yes," I said. "It's not just a house. It's a statement." He paused. "Then go make it." The closing day arrived quietly. No fanfare. Just me, Lily, and a lawyer in a modest office. I transferred the funds from my crypto wallet. No mortgage. No loans. Just a digital transaction and a signature. Afterward, Lily hugged me. "You did it." I took a photo of the keys and sent it to Harold. He replied instantly, "You did it." I didn't tell Mark. Not yet. Instead, I spent a few days walking through the house, imagining curtains, furniture, colors. I wasn't planning to live there. I just wanted to feel it. To breathe in the space he'd dreamed about for years. One afternoon, I stood in the living room staring at the fireplace. I remembered that dinner table. The laughter. The way he'd made me feel small. I didn't feel angry anymore. I felt powerful. Not because I had money, but because I'd built something. Quietly. Steadily. Without asking for permission. I sat on the porch watching the lake ripple in the breeze. A couple walked by holding hands. A dog barked in the distance. I closed my eyes and let the moment settle. This wasn't about proving anything anymore. It was about becoming someone I respected. Someone who didn't need applause to feel worthy. I pulled out my phone and opened my portfolio. It was up again. Not dramatically. Just enough. Enough to remind me that I was on the right path. I opened my shop dashboard. 3 new orders. 1 paid in Bitcoin. I smiled. Building wealth in silence wasn't just a strategy. It was a lifestyle. A choice. A quiet rebellion against every voice that told me I couldn't. And I was just getting started. The breeze off the lake was gentle that morning, brushing against my cheek as I sat on the porch with my tea. The house was quiet but not empty. It held something now, something more than furniture or walls. It held a shift. A moment that had changed everything. I picked up my phone and dialed Mark. "Hey," I said, keeping my voice light. "Can you come by this afternoon? I want to show you something." There was a pause. "Sure," he replied. "Is Lily coming?" "She'll be here," I said. "Bring Anna too." They arrived around 3. Mark stepped out of the car first, sunglasses on, his usual confident stride. Anna followed, her eyes scanning the property. Lily ran up the steps and hugged me. "This place is beautiful," she said. I smiled. "Come inside." I led them through the front door, letting the silence speak for itself. The hardwood floors gleamed. The sunlight poured in through the tall windows. The lake shimmered beyond the glass doors. Mark walked slowly, taking it all in. He didn't say much. Just nodded, brows furrowed. Anna touched the kitchen counter. "Is this?" I turned to her and nodded. "Yes. It's the house." Mark stopped in the living room. "Wait. You bought this?" I stepped forward and held out the keys. "It's yours, if you want to rent it. I'll give you a family discount." He stared at the keys. Then at me. Then back at the keys. His laugh was short, unsure. "You're serious?" I nodded. "Completely." He didn't take the keys right away. He looked around again, slower this time. His eyes lingered on the fireplace, the porch, the lake view. I could see the pride and confusion battling in his expression. He didn't know whether to hug me or argue. He chose silence. Anna stepped beside him and gently nudged his arm. "It's a generous offer." Mark finally reached out and took the keys. "Thanks," he said, voice low. We sat down for dinner on the porch that evening. I'd made grilled salmon, roasted vegetables, and lemon pie, his favorite. The table was set with linen napkins and mismatched plates. It wasn't fancy, but it felt warm. Mark was quiet. Not cold, just thoughtful. Lily chatted about her latest crypto win, explaining how she doubled her investment in a new token. Anna asked me for tips on setting up a wallet. I showed her a few apps and explained the basics. Mark listened, occasionally nodded, but mostly he just watched. At one point, Lily leaned over and said, "Dad, Auntie's been teaching me everything. You should have seen her charts. She's like a wizard." Mark smiled faintly. "I'm starting to believe that." After dinner, we sat in silence for a while. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting orange streaks across the lake. The air smelled of pine and lemon. Anna excused herself to take a call. Lily went inside to grab dessert. It was just me and Mark on the porch. He cleared his throat. "I didn't expect this." "I know," I said. He looked at me, eyes softer than I'd seen in years. "I was wrong. You didn't just invest. You built something." I didn't cry, but my voice cracked. "I just wanted you to believe in me." He nodded. "I do now." We didn't say much after that. We didn't need to. A few days later, I visited the house again. Alone this time. I brought a book, a blanket, and my favorite tea. I sat on the porch, watching the lake ripple in the breeze. A couple walked by with their dog. A child rode past on a bike. The world moved gently around me. I thought about everything. The dinner table laughter. The sleepless nights. The quiet research. The jewelry orders. The crypto charts. The porch conversations. I didn't think about the money. Not really. I thought about the journey. The moments that shaped me. The people who doubted me. The ones who stood by me. The ones who changed their minds. I thought about Harold. About Lily. About the women in the crypto group. About the magazine article. About the spreadsheet I still updated every Sunday. I thought about the key. Not just the physical one, but the metaphorical one. The key that unlocked something inside me. The key that turned silence into strength. That turned laughter into fuel. That turned doubt into drive. I sipped my tea slowly, letting the warmth settle in my chest. The house wasn't just a house. It was a symbol. A quiet, powerful reminder that I didn't need permission to succeed. That I didn't need applause to feel worthy. That I could build something meaningful, on my own terms. Mark still visits sometimes. He brings coffee. We sit on the porch and talk about life, investments, family. He doesn't joke about crypto anymore. He asks questions. He listens. Anna's learning to. She started a small side hustle selling digital art as NFTs. Lily helps her with the listings. The house has become more than a rental. It's become a gathering place. A quiet sanctuary. A space where respect lives. And every time I sit on that porch watching the lake sipping tea, I think about the journey. The laughter that lit the fire. The silence that built the wealth. And the key that changed everything.